what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man?
I was doing some research, and I mean, I was hip to pretty much everybody you're working with, but I didn't necessarily know that you were working with them. Like Lil Reek, that's fucking fire.
Oh, yeah, man. It's Lil Rico, my partner, Roger.
Hell yeah. And, I've got a lot of questions about your involvement with Internet Money, too, because there's just so much going on there.
Yeah, and the money is special, man. It's special. It was different.
Definitely. Like, I manage a producer from Ohio, and he knew Nick from, like, a while ago when he was coming up. So I was hip for a long time and just watching, like, how perfectly everything was done, down to the point where you guys work with 10K now. That's just so crazy to me. So I'm super stoked to do this interview.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do, man. I really do.
So how'd you get your start in the music business?
So I played ball my whole life. Like, my whole life I played basketball. You know, everybody's dream of going to NBA. In college, I ended up having my son when I was like 20 years old and shit. So, I mean, graduated college. I could have went overseas to play, but I feel like I'm not going to be in my child's life. And that's something to me that always meant a lot. So I'm like, I'm going to drop that and go get a job with my major. And I wasn't really feeling it. So October 2010, I quit my job. And I started a company called D&D Productions with my partner, David. And we went around giving people interviews. Anybody who did anything entertainment, we interviewed you. And we try to give you, almost like a blog. We give you a platform, a voice to let your shit be heard. We post you on Twitter. That's when Twitter was big. So we'll post you on Twitter, post you on our YouTube channel. Our shit got so crazy in Queens, where we from. We ended up doing something that This Is 50 with an artist named Joker and DJ Love De Niro and Fred the Godson, rest in peace, and a few other people was there, Twin from G Unit. And then that same day, DJ Love De Niro, it's like Waka Flocka's DJ at the time. He's like, yo, Bird, what you doing later? I said, nothing. He said, I'd love for you guys to come to the studio on Farmers and come film Frenchie from Brick Squad and Woo the Kid. They just flew in from Atlanta. I said, of course, why not? Went to the studio. I had already knew Frenchie because him and my older brother and my cousins were already acquaintances, but I was never doing nothing music until now. So we got to the studio, and that day right there changed it all. Fast forward a few months later, I ended up managing Frenchie, who was Waka Flocka and Gucci Mane's artist from 1017 Brick Squad.
That's crazy. It's crazy how shit can just like fall into place like that naturally, just by being in the right place at the right time and, planting the right seeds beforehand. So what part of Queens are you from, by the way?
I'm from Jamaica, Queens, 171 in Jamaica, to be exact.
I was in Queens this morning, bro. I'm in Long Island right now, so I'm pretty close to like Bayside and Whitestone and whatnot. Queens is special.
Oh, so you're from Long Island?
I'm from Long Island. I'm from Manhasset, so like really.
That's where I go shopping. I go shopping in Manhasset, the Gucci and all that crazy stores and shit.
At the
Americana Mall. Yeah,
bro,
exactly.
No, but Billy Joel included that in a song, referring to it as a miracle mile. Like that shit has some history. But
you know what's crazy? My first job ever in my life, when I was 15 or when I was 16 years old, there was a supermarket in Manhattan called King Cullen. They just opened up. And I was working in King Cullen as a cashier with I had a worker's permit. That was my first job ever in my life, working at King Cullen.
The one like on Northern Boulevard?
Yeah, right next to the school, right next to St. Mary's.
I went to St. Mary's, bro.
I had a friend I went there, Alik Pauline.
That's so what? Dude, Danny Green went to the high school there.
Yeah. Danny Green was there.
Crazy.
My friend Alik Pauline was like a big basketball player. That was my first job, was King Cullen in Manhattan. That's crazy you said that.
That is so wild, bro. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like that's
where
I'm
from Jamaica, Queens. Born and raised Jamaica, Queens. That's where I'm from.
Good shit, bro. I fuck with the Mets out too, because I'm natural.
Yeah, man, you gotta represent for Queens, man.
Yeah, of course. And what I love about Queens too is that I feel like it's getting gradually so much more recognition. I mean, like classically, Queens has just always been on the map because it's such like a notable hip hop scene and just there's so much character there. I would hear about Queens all the time and just about how diverse it was. You have every sort of mix of people. Just at the whole
Caribbean, from Caribbeans to the Asians to whites to African Americans to anything you want, from Guyanese to Haitian, Jamaican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, people from El Salvador, Guatemala, Venezuela.
It's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna move this inside because I have like pretty shit Wi-Fi right now. But
what you gotta do? But it's crazy, right? Queens, right? I be arguing with people sometimes. I think one time I put a tweet up and people couldn't argue me back, and I said, and this is my opinion. I think it's a fact though. I've never really calculated the numbers, but I feel like Queens sold the most records in hip hop. Queens, meaning artists coming from Queens, if you put them together, they sold the most records in hip hop. And Queens is not even a city or a state; it's just a borough.
Facts. I mean, I really grew up on that like niche of hip hop. There's so many just classic acts coming out of there, and the culture there is what, set the stage for everybody to, be able to make such substantial music.
Yeah, I mean, Run DMC, LL Cool J, G Unit, Nicki Minaj, Mobb Deep, Ja Rule. A lot came from Queens.
That's like hip hop. That's just classic.
Yeah. Even Lil Tecca, before he moved to Long Island, he was in Queens. He's from Queens.
Is he
from Springfield?
Springfield.
Yeah, he's from Queens.
That's crazy.
People don't even know. Like for example, like Waka Flocka, he's from Queens. He moved when he was like 11 or 13 to Georgia, but his whole family is from Queens.
I didn't know that about Waka. I didn't know that about Tecca. That's kind of crazy how, full circle that is. You find yourself much later on being surrounded by someone like Tecca with internet money and given.
It's in Queens. Exactly. I remember when I first met him. I met him I spoke to him before, but I met him face to face when we shot the at the Somebody video shoot. He's like, "Oh, yeah, Taz told me you're from Queens," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really from Queens." Yeah.
So are you hip to like Christina's Deli and whatnot?
What is that at?
In Whitestone.
That's right by there's a lot of studios over there by Christina's Deli. Because one of my clients, who's also my friend, who's also a Brick Squad affiliate, Young Joey, he had a studio in Whitestones, and he's always at that deli. So whenever I go to studio, that's where we go to there. Everybody comes and get the sandwiches late at night when you're in Whitestone.
I saw China Mac had his own sandwich there.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. It's a lot in Queens, man. Like, shout out to Queens. That's why I love being from there.
Yeah, no, it really is a special place. But what point in your life did you like look at music and just say like, this is it? Like, this is the route I'm going for sure.
To be honest with you, one day I got a phone call. This when I was managing Frenchie. I got a phone call and somebody said, "Hey, how you doing? I want to get a feature for Frenchie. I got $5,000." So I'm on the other line. Like, hold on. So you mean to tell me people call you all the time and tell you they want to get a verse from you or a song, and they just send you $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9,000? He said, "Yeah, and I get 20% of that. So if they send you 5,000, I get 1,000." I said, "Oh yeah, I can do this job." That's a true story. True story.
What drives your passion with music specifically? Do you think it's Queens and the culture there that contributed to you like seeing that as a route? Because a lot of people, despite how lucrative music can be and how much opportunity lies within, it's almost like they second guess their ability to be able to like flourish.
The music business, being a rapper, artist, manager, whatever that shit is, this is the hardest job in the world, man. Like, this shit is fucking hard and scary because you're not guaranteed nothing. You're not guaranteed to make money. You could work 5 years believing in something, not guaranteed to make money. So my passion and drive for being a hustler and understanding opportunity and grabbing it is what made my niche for music work. Like I said, I played basketball my whole life. So I use the same techniques I used in basketball. From you got to be in practice at a certain time. You got to know plays, and you got to know how to be a team manager, how to be a team player, how to be captain of a team. I use those same skills with music. And once I was able to do that and see it's almost the same thing, just using a different technique, I grasped it and understood it. And now this is one of my models. I never chased the money. I chased the opportunity to build and create stuff, and then the money just comes.
And that's
like, you got to have that drive for that and the work ethic to work. Like, people will tell you all the time, especially like Taz. He should be like, "Yo, Bird, do you ever sleep?" And I'll be laughing like, "Why?" He said, "Cause whenever I'm online, I see you online. Whenever I call, text you, you answer, respond back." I'm like, "Look, we make great amount of money in this business. You got to be a fool to fuck that shit up and not take it serious."
That's fast.
So that's what motivates me. It's like, I know we can do certain things. We can achieve certain accolades. We can make a certain amount of money. We can be responsible for certain records. You know how good it feels? You go to a club, or you're in a car, you're in the supermarket, and a song your client made, or your artist or your producer, whatever made, and you like this, and everybody in the stores is like this, and you just laughing like, "Yo, I know where that came from. I know who made that. I know why that is here today." That shit feels special, man. You can't buy that feeling.
I feel like that's just like the sort of gratification that comes for the people that put in all that work without any gratification. Being a manager and a lot of other like administrative roles in the music industry is a thankless job for the most part. You got to be ready to just eat it and just keep pushing forward and saying, all right, where's that next opportunity, or how can we make amends for this, and constantly capitalizing, even when it's like a lot of people get discouraged by negative shit happening. but like I've seen internet money and also just other people in hip hop just thrive once something negative happens. It's like it accelerates them because they use that and it's like, now I can be better and eliminate that as something that could happen.
But internet money came around late 2016, early 2017, a great period of time when the producer world shifted. You know, back in the days, people were getting beats offline. Producers would pull up to the studios, or they had their own relationships, and that's how records were getting built.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole type beats or beats on YouTube or like that kind of caliber, it kind of shifted where it's like I could be in Omaha, Nebraska, and said artist could be in New York City or LA, and maybe I might not ever have a chance to be in the studio with him or give him my records. But since I'm marketing with type beats or putting it on YouTube, he might do a search or somebody might tell me, yo, check this out. And he hears my sound or my production from Omaha, Nebraska, or from wherever the fuck I'm at, West Bubblefuck. And now he can get in tune with me and we can make history. There's so many records that people don't even know that producers never even met the artist. They never even spoke to each other. They never even been in the studio together, but they have #1 records in the country, #1 records on urban radio, Hot 100 top 10s, and double platinum, triple platinum. It's so crazy. But that time period, it gave everybody equal opportunity and feed their families.
Yeah, no, and one thing that really like struck me with internet money is like, you know, before internet money, I saw type beats and placements as two separate things. And then, you know, then came a point where I was hearing stories of artists who would be in the studio or whatever, and they'd be fucking around listening to type beats on YouTube. And like they would actually pick a type beat to be the beat for whatever hit that they ended up making. And then once I was hearing about that shit, it just like enlightened me. I saw the crossover there, and it's like, you guys are really covering all your bases, you know? You know, BeatStars is fucking amazing because you can get some passive income going for growing artists, you know? The placements is what feel like solidified internet money's place in culture. You know, all those artists that sided with them, collaborated with them, and even to this day, you know, the identity of internet money is ever growing and ever changing, you know, based off of who they're collaborating with, who they're signing. So you guys have definitely made a huge impact. And I think one huge impact that you have made is showing people who think, oh, that's bullshit. Like, I'm going to post a type beat, get 100 views. It's like falling in love with the process of growing, and, you know, all the tutorial videos and everything. That shit's so fire, because that's like empowering the next generation to see what's going on, see what's good, and then be equipped to learn from that and grow from that. I think it's very special. Not a lot of companies do that.
It gives everybody a chance. It gives everybody a chance to be able to get into the room. What you do when you get in the room, that's on you. But you're going to have a chance to survive. You know, the internet's the wild, wild west, and it's becoming the new generation. Whether we like it or not, everything is digital, everything's online. So that's just, it is what it is. So imagine we didn't have type beats or producers who lived on the internet, especially during this COVID-19 situation. There's a lot of artists who maybe can't get next to another producer, or they're not in communications because everybody's worried about what's going on with their families, or to get fucking toilet paper or tissue or wipes and shit like that. You're not focused on, oh, let me call this producer. But you can sit on your laptop or your computer when you're at home. Let me look up this beat. Oh, okay. Or a Drake type beat, a Future type beat, whatever. Okay, I might sound good on this shit. Oh, it's a beat reference with my name. Let me hear how it sounds. Oh shit, I might like this shit. Like, you'd be surprised how many big records came from type beats. Like, I was part of one with Panda, with the producer Menace from Manchester, who I don't manage no more, but, you know, still shout out to him. He had a type beat. It was like a Meek Mill, Ace Hood type beat, and Designer found it. They did their magic. It went #1 in the world. They both made their movie.
Type beat.
And it was a type beat. It is what it is. There's no denying that. So for a lot of people hate on them, they get mad at it. Oh, it's just marketing, man. You can't get mad at the next man for how he markets his product, because he's not telling you how to do it. So you shouldn't be upset at how he does it. It is what it is.
It's just a different niche of the market. It's like that allows you as a producer to go into more of the mass market while still hitting that niche industry market of people who are still checking that shit out regardless.
Because, you know, artists nowadays, like in the last few years, they're coming off from the internet. That's just the way it's working. So what? You don't like it? Okay, keep doing what you're doing. But there's these new kids on the block, and these are what they're doing. And in 20 years, when they're doing a documentary on type beats, and there's gonna be a lot of producers who they're gonna have to call on them because they were at the forefront of this new era. It is what it is.
Facts. And even on the administrative side, that rings true with the internet being like such a hotbed for opportunity. I spoke to John Hicks, who you guys work with at Internet Money, and he was saying that he got his A&R position from what started as a tweet at Taz Taylor. Like, that shit is so crazy to me. It's like,
and look, now he's an A&R with Taz.
exactly. It's like the internet takes manifestation to a whole nother level, because the likelihood of that thought or idea or want that a person has to materialize is so much more likely, just because you have that audience.
It bridges the gap. It brings everybody closer together. It bridges the gap.
It's facts. It's like, it's just a whole new era. And, you know, that is one thing that I really admire about how you guys have been operating your business.
Another thing, not to cut you off, I want to say about Internet Money, which kind of goes under the rug sometimes. They don't give a fuck about your following. They don't care how many likes you got, how many reposts you got. Taz or whoever can see an artist right now with fucking 5 followers, -2 plays on SoundCloud. If that motherfucker likes that shit, believe me, he's calling me in the morning. I have a new artist. He's flying to my house. I'm gonna record with him, and we're gonna try something. When what was that? When Lil Tecca, I'll never forget. It was like around December or November. He called me like, "Yo, Bird, this is an artist I like. He's from Queens, this and the third. I'm gonna fly him out here. I want to work it. I might sign him." I said, "Shit, let's go do it." A few months later, we have Ransom. Just fucking, I think hit number 4, number 3, if I'm not mistaken, on Hot 100. This is from a few tweets to each other. Boom, number 1 record on the urban radio, number 3 and number 4 Hot 100 from being on the internet.
Fact, and that's another thing to mention too in regards to the internet. Cole Bennett doing what he did in the whole video side of this shit and really branding that properly. He gave himself a platform to take something that would already be successful as a release and then just, you know, push it up even higher. The young generation is the most key dimension of, you know, the market. Yeah, so with Cole, like, he started that shit himself. And he brought it to a level where now he has like a direct connection to that younger audience. Every time I see my little brother, he's 16, he is talking to me about the latest Cole Bennett video. And it's like, he also is talking about Internet Money. And there are certain groups and artists and people in music that really properly hit that demographic, appropriately so. Some people do it the wrong way. The impact that comes from really understanding the value of that audience is so obvious and so apparent through you guys and Cole and plenty of other people that have just capitalized off the internet. And
like I said, it breaks the barrier. You don't got to be cool. You don't got to have the latest Yeezys. You don't have to have the Rolex or the Benz outside. You can come as you are. Open door policy. Come as you are. We're all here together. You make great music. You make great beats, whatever. Let's do it.
Consistency is such a thing. And, you know, I manage artists myself, and I tell them, you're not going to do shit until you believe what you're putting out there is quality, because then you can really get into being consistent and releasing by your standard of quality. That consistency is what gets people heard a lot of times, because 300 views turns into 1,000 the next week, and, you know, 5 people on Instagram Live could be 25 that next time you go on live, all dependent on the quality of what you're delivering to that audience. It's discouraging at first, but those tutorial videos and all these different avenues that people have to understand what's going on, it's like, it's such a fucking alley-oop now. It's like, here you go, here's the game, now just take it and do what you're gonna do with it.
And just insert yourself and try. A lot of times with this music that fucks people up is people try, but they don't wait the course. It takes time, man. Like, I always wanted a platinum plaque. I've been in the hip-hop game since 2010. My first plaque came in 2016. I could have easily said, man, fuck this shit in 2020, 2012, 2013, fuck this shit. But I waited the course. Like, I really believed. I tried different things, you know, because there's no manual or management for dummies. It's trial and error and not giving up and being persistent. People are going to tell you no. They're going to shut the door on you. It's cool. But there might be a back door. There might be a window that's open now. A window that's cracked. It might be something. Just try, man. Keep trying and don't give up. And never quit your day job. I always tell you that. Don't quit your day job, because you still need to survive. But when you get home from work, you got to give in that same amount of time and dedication for what you're doing with the music, whether it's management, whether you're a producer, whether you're going into publishing, whatever the case may be. You got to give that effort, because you might not be Michael Jordan, but you could become Scottie Pippen. You could become Steve Kerr. You could become Phil Jackson. Who knows? As long as you get on that team, that's what matters, and you become successful. That's it.
Having the luxury of working for Chiefers, I get to look at artists from a different perspective. And I'll hear some fire shit from someone who's up and coming, and the only thing that is preventing them from getting to the next level is if they stop. So it's like I got my fingers crossed for some artists I'm paying attention to, like, please just don't stop, because that literally is the only thing between them and that next level. If you're focused on leveling up and you're asking the right questions, you're bound to get there as long as you're dedicated to it. You talked about how, facing adversity and learning from mistakes is so implemental. I was wondering if you had any like one obstacle or something, that you faced that was notable enough to, really be significant to you, where you feel like that helped you more than something positive per se.
Getting burned by artists or producers is one thing I can say helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Being a manager is like being a parent. The client, I don't give a fuck if they're older than you, younger than you, they become like your children because you really care for them and you really want them to succeed. Sometimes you want them to succeed more than they want to succeed themselves,
Mm-hmm.
which actually hurts a lot. But getting burned when you know your heart was in the right place, you were genuine, you changed their lives, you helped them make a lot of money, and they turn around and burn you, it starts to turn you like, damn, that's crazy, man. Like, tomorrow morning, they can just wake up and say, fuck you. So you're almost at their mercy. This is a business, and you start leaving your emotions to the side. Because if not, it's going to turn you crazy, man. Because like I said, I've been burned by people who, man, they know. And if they watch this interview or they hear it or whatever, they're going to know. Like, they're going to feel what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I've been burned by people who they know I will go to war for them. But, it don't always work out the way you want it to work out, and that's okay. So you got to focus on the ones that really fuck with you and really give you that respect you deserve and really going to ride with you till the wheels fall off. I'm sorry, that's my laundry going up right at the back. You hear it? That's just going to ride with you till the wheels fall off, and you give them that extra love that you were maybe giving to two of your artists. Now you give that one artist 150,000%. Exactly. That, to me, is the most notable thing that actually shifted me in this business, man, because I used to look at everybody, that's my brother. Nah, man, some people, they're not your brother, man. They don't give a fuck about you because they wouldn't even ask you how you doing, how your children doing.
Exactly.
But man, you don't ask them how they're doing for the day.
With shit like that, only time can tell. And like, I love that you touched up on that, because as a manager myself, like, that has definitely happened to me several times. And
it hurts, right? It hurts, right? It hurts.
It's like 2 weeks. I'll take as much time as I need to get my game face on and be like, I'm 100% in. There was a couple times where it was like severe, and I look back and walking away from that, ready to go back into that positive state of mind, I just tell myself it's like a strengthening of the herd by the weakest being eliminated. They did it to themselves, but why the hell would I want to work with someone that on any day could just be like, fuck you? That's not something that me or any other manager at that would be interested in. I love that you touched up on that, because that is such a real thing for people on the administrative
stuff. A
stuff.
lot of people in the music business, they don't speak on it, and that's why people continue to do it. Sometimes I even wonder, when I watch like old documentaries or old videos about like artists saying, oh, my business manager did this, or my manager did that, or my lawyer did this. I want to know what you did to make them react and do something that you think that they did. Because a lot of times, and I've seen managers, man, who would give up their fucking life for their clients, get disrespected, get assaulted, get spit on. I mean, haven't got paid, and I'll be looking like, oh my God, like, that shit is fucked up. Once that artist got to said point, I did it on myself. I would like to thank myself and more of myself because I did this without nobody did my bullshit. Nobody could do this by themselves. You need your PR, the manager, your road manager, your fucking brother who drove you to the shows, or your mother who paid your cell phone bill while you was in the basement recording all day, your fucking friend who held your fucking microphone because it was whatever the fuck case may be. But they always go on stage, yeah, I did it myself. Be careful for those people, man. Watch out for those people.
Oh, totally. What I've noticed about the group of artists I ended up with after certain people did what they did, it's like you look at them and that the relationship is characterized by growth. It's not about shining. It's not about specific moments. You get to a point with the artist where the relationship is more like falling in love with the process, and the regularity of all these things that go down, become all the more special, and trust just builds upon that. I look at the littlest things that people do, and I'm sure you do as well. You pick up on tiny indicators of where someone's head is at. You know, if building a team company, whether it be Timeless or Internet Money, I'm sure you've just had so many instances of just you catch like a shred of something wrong from somebody, and you just like note it in your head, you know, because all you can
You know, it's only gonna get bigger and worse.
exactly.
Yep.
What brought the Internet Money and 10K projects deal to life? I've always been curious about that. Like, why 10K projects over, you know, anybody else?
I mean, at first we were at Alamo, and you know, Taz and Todd had their little ups and downs. And still shout out to Todd and Zeke because they gave us our first label deal with their money and Alamo Records. So salute to them 100%. But, you know, it didn't work out, so we went about our business and went elsewhere. Taz met up with Elliot. They had a great relationship and understanding. Taz felt like Elliot understood. You know, Taz is another animal. Like it's not easy to do it, and that's my dog. So I can say that with a smile on my face. He knows it is what it is. Taz is not easy to deal with, but you know he means well, and he just wants his shit to work. So when he met Elliot, even after I met Elliot with Taz, we sat down and he's like, "Yo, Elliot gets me. He's not trying to get in my way. It's not about being the Elliot of 10K show. Elliot loves Taz and the In the Money brand. He said, Taz, I got your back. Drive the car. I'll sit in the back seat. Bird can be passenger side. We're going wherever the fuck this shit gonna go. And you guys know I'm here to help with whatever." Mm-hmm. When you got a partner like that, you can't fail. It's like, I'm not here to act like, yes, I'm such and such, and this is my label, and I have X amount of dollars. It's not like it's about, you believe in this? Okay, let's see. Does it work? Let's see how we can figure it out. Okay, I understand it. Let's go. Let's try it. Mm-hmm. So that right there is what sold 10K to In Their Money, basically to Taz. He seen that. They understood his vision. They respected what he was doing, respected him as a person, and he liked that. It's not always about the money, because that's something I drilled in all of their heads. The money's gonna come. Fuck the money. I'm not saying fuck money because everybody needs it and wants it, but let's go for the opportunity.
Exactly. It's like short term versus long term.
Exactly. Let's go for somebody who's gonna see the vision, and the money's gonna come. I promise you. And Elliot's seen the vision. 10K seen the vision, and they're great partners, man. So I definitely fuck with 10K. Taz did a smart move by going with Elliot and 10K, and it's a year later now, and here we are. It's a great partnership, and I know it's going to be something that's going to be here for the next 10, 20, 15, whatever.
Just very solidified, and it seems like you guys are just, you know, focused on business and not bullshit. And, you know, that type of mentality breeds longevity, because that's like a hyper focus on what you got to do. It's an interesting take, especially with the tutorials, treating producers and artists alike like the audience, rather than just having this vision of like, that's separate. You know, with so many ways to connect to people in general, you end up with an audience that is characterized by who you're directing it to. So from the tutorials to the Instagram lives, the Twitches, everything, it's like you're directing signals in every direction towards whoever would be appealed by
the audience. They got their own cult. They have their own cult following, their own cult audience, where it's like the consumers, they know what they're getting and they know who they're getting it from, and it just works, man. Like however it works, whatever it works. I mean, I believe in God, so however God made the plan to work, it just works. You know what I'm saying? It works like it's supposed to work.
It's comforting to be able to see, like, you know, shit always has a way of working itself out. You just gotta, whatever brings you to the point of understanding that, then you can be in that comfortable stage of working and not always having your backup. And you could really like focus on this shit. Who's been your biggest inspiration to date?
As far as what, like personally? Or?
Just like, it could be anything, you know, I've heard very original answers coming from shit outside of music that is characteristic. So it could be anybody.
One of my biggest inspirations, and I never really told anybody, it's like my grandfather. You know, my dad died when I was 1, so, and my grandfather has 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 with my dad, and his daughter, my aunt. Everybody had both parents, whether they got separated or divorced, but nobody was dead. My dad died when I was 1, so me and my older brother, it was just my mom's. And he always held us down. And he was like the breadwinner of the family. He worked crazy hours. If anybody know about New York City cabs, he owned a medallion, which is something that's like lit. You know what I'm saying? He owned a medallion, worked for it, came from Haiti, a third world country, came to America, did his thing, bought a house that's worth a good amount of money, took care of the family. And I just always watched it. He never complained. Never was bitching, never was complaining, always did what he was supposed to do, and he always believed in me. Yo, one of the things she always used to tell me was, I hope I don't die before you get to where I know you're going to get to. So when I got my first plaque, I swear to God, man, when I got my first plaque, and tears, like, yo, this is all I want. They said, yo, they told me this out of his own mouth. This is all I wanted to see. And if I die now, I'm in peace. He always told me that I don't want to die before you get to where you're going to get to. I was always hustling and bustling and moving and shaking I wanted to do this, and he always believed in me. So that's one of my biggest, and I never really told nobody that what I just told you. That's one of my biggest inspirations, besides my older brother who held me down my whole life. My grandfather, man, he inspired me to be so much and be such of a good person, because that's all he was. He was he's still alive. He's a great person, man. Shout out to him, man, for real.
I mean, that must be such a blessing to be able to accomplish that primary goal of yours, to be able to have something to show for yourself to him, and getting the reciprocation of like pride from him back to you must feel fucking amazing. And I just want to thank you for getting on the interview and taking the time to talk and go a bit deeper into the backstory behind your success and everything that you've got going on. And you definitely are inspiring a lot of other people in the subtleties of your work from every dimension of it. So
real quick, and this is like a PSA to managers and artists. This shit is not easy, man. This shit is not easy in no way, shape, form. It's not easy. You gotta keep trying, man. And artists, managers, producers, managers, you gotta keep that relationship so intact. There's a lot of people that come from all types of areas, try to break you up, try to tell you why it's not gonna work, or you need to better this or better that. Fuck that shit. Because where they were at when you wasn't doing shit, where were they when you wasn't doing nothing, when nobody believed in you, when nobody had your back, but that person had your back. That person believed in you. That person would have fought you till the wheels fall off, and then you just shit on them when you get on, or you leave them for dead, or you don't pay that person what they deserve to get paid. I seen an interview from QC, and he said that a lot of times he see artists blow up and they're not with the same people that they started with. The people that held up their life to make sure that these said artists or producers or whatever lives blossomed or became what they became. But then they get bigger, they blow up, and they leave that stuff in the back and get a whole new separate team or entity. And I'm not telling you to stick with the people because you have to, and they shit on you, they fucking steal from you. I'm not saying that. The people that's genuine and loyal to you, don't kick them out, because the shit that goes up with staircases comes down as fast as hell on the elevator. Always remember that. And
it's well worth taking notice to those people that have the intangibles, the shit, like, you can learn a lot of different things, but it is pretty damn hard to learn like standards and morals and just like how to carry yourself the right way.
Look at fucking J. Cole. He's been in the game 10 plus years. The same team. There's a reason. Look at Drake. There's a reason these people are still with the same people and they're fucking successful.
We love you, Tucker. Why you jacking steady till we roll off? I got all these bitches loving me like I ain't so soft. Stop talking with your chest, little bitty bitch, you better bold off. Told her hit my jacket when she hit me, told her hold off. I just want somebody to treat me like somebody.